Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode here on the Wellness Path podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Vic, and excited to have you here as we're going to talk about something short, brief, to the point, something that I don't hear too much about. It's starting to come around the holistic realm, in the holistic world, in chiropractic and so forth, is the focus when it comes to women who are pregnant, they have the baby, and then it's like, here you go. And instead, we want to focus on what's that fourth trimester? What is things to look out for, things that you can do to really make that a smooth transition for you with postpartum depression, the body's healing, recouping back to its normal state, and so much more. So before we get into today's podcast episode, please check out in the show notes. We have a free wellness guide that you can click on. It's a whole plethora of stuff that we share of what can help you maximize your health and your life in every facet. Chiropractic's one of those, and many other things that we kind of our core focus at the Wellness Path. So check that out. Go ahead and download and start applying those things that we share in there today. Like us on our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And then make sure to like, share. If you like this episode and you want to share it with someone, please do. Share a review so it gets this movement that we're creating here and showcasing what we do at the Wellness Path with everyone out there. So, trimester 4, it's one of those things that it's been a big focus of mine for about 10 years. And it was one I kept seeing how women we would work with and through pregnancy, and it was just like you focus so much before the pregnancy and labor, and we never really focused so much after of how to heal the body, what I should be taking, what diet I should be following, how do I need to nurture my body back, and what are the things I should focus on. And my first thing was, well, let me look and see what chiropractic does, right? Because chiropractic helps you with the self-healing and self-regulating mechanisms of the body. But chiropractic also allows this body to adapt to the different changes, right? So when you're pregnant, there's changes there. Different trimesters have different phases of what your body's going to be going through. Hormonal, baby growing, organs changing, the whole 9 yards. Then you have the labor. That's a whole nother change and shift. And it's a very short one compared to the length of pregnancy. And then you have after, there's another shift now. The body has to come back and to restore itself back to where it was, as best as it possibly can. And so you have all that, plus you have a baby if you're breastfeeding or not. And then you have the changes of life and the dynamics of life and how your life's going to change, and all the things that you face when it comes to having a newborn, whether it's your number 1, number 2, 3, 5, 7. And these are things that where chiropractic really holds strong. And this is why I highly recommend. And I tell moms this all the time when they're looking, they're like, well, when should I bring my child in? And I would say before they are a thought. And the reason why is because we want to prep the house and then um, prep the house, which is mom, to have things all in alignment, have the hormones be regulated as much as they can through the neuroendocrine pathways. Neuro means nerves and endocrine means hormone, part of the body. And then make sure everything's good to go so we don't have to try to correct things along the way when you're pregnant. But not only that, then when it comes to postpartum, which is trimester 4, starting out there, a lot of things are happening, right? So you have relaxin hormone, which kicks in right when you're pregnant. This part of the relaxin hormone affects the joints in a lot of ways, especially in trimester 3. And so joints are starting to come back to their normal position. And it's really critical because from a chiropractic and a structure standpoint, and when I say structure, I'm talking about the proper curves in the neck, in pelvis alignment and things like that. We can correct a lot in a shorter period of time because we have relaxin still happening and affecting the joints. It's working itself out. It's usually in the first 3 months. It is usually up to 6 months it takes to fully clear to regulate the body back to its normal states. And so with the chiropractic side, it can really, really help with structure stuff. And I've seen this in my career with moms that like trusted me when I was sharing this with them. Once the baby comes, they go through the labor process. We would do x-rays to see if I didn't have them already, to see what's going on, and then put on a structure approach with supportive approaches to help them support their spine. And we would see changes, 0 3 degree curves in the neck, go to 15, 20, 25 in just a couple months. And this is just nothing. We just do basic, with chiropractic care and just a little bit of some ligament work and muscle work. And we can start to shift these things. We help stabilize pelvis. I've seen pubic bones off by 7, 8 millimeters if I had x-rays before, and then we can correct that to get it down to like 2 millimeter difference. These are huge changes for the body. Those are big. And so these are things we look at, but that's just structure. We're talking now self-healing, self-regulating, helping the body heal itself back and bring things back to a more optimal or as optimal as we can state. And this is where chiropractic really, really, really does a lot. You got to remember, chiropractic is what helps you adapt to every facet of your life. And so no matter what shows up in life, you can be able to adapt to the best of your ability. Not saying it's going to guarantee anything, but it'll give you a better outcome than it would without, if that makes sense. So that's why love sharing this with moms. And when they trust the process and they trust what I'm sharing, and then they see a different experience, they get kind of blown away by it. And it's just like, yeah, because you've been hearing all the opposite. Here's what happens when you have chiropractic in the mix. And this can be very, very powerful for you in your health and everything that you got going on. And especially, like I said, with a newborn, you may be getting sleepy, maybe you're not getting sleep. Maybe the newborn may have, reflux. Maybe it'll have colic. Maybe it has, some things may show up along the road. And I'll tell you, being a parent myself, not getting sleep, I understand it. And so it's one of those things where wanting to make sure you maximize as much as you can so you can get the proper sleep and keep your body regulated. Because let's face it, you get better sleep, you're more patient, you're more understanding with your children, and so much more. When we're not, even with your partner, when you're not having that, it makes it a little harder. You get a little easy, more irritated, you're a little more bothered, and those things can weigh on you over time. And we're not even talking about the emotional component where we look at mom who now had this baby in her for this quite period of time, and now all of a sudden the baby's not there, right? So now it's detached, and there's that. Sometimes those feelings can show up, and I've seen it with moms before. And it's able to, with the chiropractic, it allows for the hormones to balance themselves and to minimize that as much as you can. In our office, we do something prior in the pregnancy aspect. We have a survey that someone will, pregnant mom will fill out when they're going to come start care with us. And it gives me clues to know what I may need to do in postpartum. So if they don't do well on this form, there's like a 75% chance they can have postpartum depression. And it gives me those stats and those numbers. And it's just data, but I can use that to go, okay, great. I know what I can do to offset that. And sometimes it may be even, hey, I'm going to help you with supplements. I'm going to help you with a couple other things for the body. I'm going to do some neural stuff. We're going to do some molecular therapy. But on top of that, I may need to refer you to someone also just to make sure you're getting some talk therapy going on, just to really work through whatever may be showing up. And sometimes that's necessary. And so I have the outlets to do that to recommend to certain patients if it's needed. So that's where we look at it from the chiro side. Now, there's a second part to that, and that is what nutrition, right? Because the body needs to heal. You need to have the raw material. And so one of my favorites is collagen, and that's going to be bone broth. Um, Drinking good quality grass-fed, 100% grass-fed, organic, green finished bone broth is phenomenal. You can do, I recommend that one. I recommend even making your own, to be honest. You get some good bones, and you can get many different types. They have them at some have a supermarket to make sure they're 100% grass-fed. And you can just go ahead and put them in like an Instant Pot, put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there. The acid will pull off the bones, and you get all this good nutrient dense minerals, which are going to be beneficial. But on top of that, you're also going to get collagen and other healing components for the gut and for the body. You can take collagen, supplements on top of that. So you can put that in a coffee or something along that nature. The collagen will be great, but I just recommend if you do a powder, you want to make sure it's 100% grass fed, pasture raised, and you want it that's for the beef, but you want to have there's like five that I usually recommend, and those are different aspects of collagen sources, and you want to have those multitudes because each of them have different types that will help overall. And if you need help with any supplements that I usually take for myself and my family and recommend the patients, you can always just email me. It's in the show notes, and I can recommend some things that I take that would benefit you. So we have the collagen side that you want to make sure that you're taking to help in that process. You want to make sure you're getting protein intake. Okay. You want to make sure you're eating because you're eating, if you're breastfeeding, you got to also support nutrition for baby. So you want to make sure that you're getting good quality protein. Meats are phenomenal. Okay. I'm a big fan of meats. They have a lot, especially grass fed, 100% grass fed, organic, pasture raised. That is going to have a good fatty profile in there. So when you're eating them, you're getting a lot of good quality meats and so forth in you. That's usually what I'm going to recommend. Fish, as long as it's good wild caught, like salmon. Sockeye salmon is my favorite. Has very high antioxidants in there. Really good fatty meat fish. That's going to helping with brain, helping with the body, the heart, and so much more. So there's all these things that you can do, and you can supplement if you don't like fish. You can take omega-3 supplements, and there's some certain ones I only recommend to help support the body in this transition, in this process. You also want to make sure you're taking a good multivitamin. Okay, so sometimes I have two different types I recommend. I have one that's like fermented whole organic foods, and then I have another one that I recommend that it's organs blend. It's a 100% grass-fed organ blend, and so it's like different organs like liver and other ones that'll help you. Taking a little extra liver may also help with you with iron and so forth, and give you the B vitamins and the nutrients you need to support your body through this. There's a great book out that I highly recommend. I have used it with my wife has done it, and it's called The First 40 Days. I believe that's the name of the book. I will have it in the show notes. But I highly recommend this book because it kind of tells you the importance of why you want to take 40 days. Why do you want to spend time? The first 5 days, I believe, is on bed. Next 5 days is sitting up on the bed. I think the next 5 days is around the bed. And you want to give your body the chance just to slowly, even though you may feel better, you want to give the body a chance to slowly start the process of healing back. And it's also a great time for you to connect and bond with your baby. I cannot tell you how important that is. This is what they did back in the day. They bond. They're with the babies all the time. In modern civilization, sometimes you're depending on your circumstances, you may only get 3 months of maternity leave, and then you have to get back to work, and that's totally understandable. But there's the bond that's so critically important that you want to focus on, and to create that establishment early on. And so that's why I'll recommend that book. Like I said, it's in the show notes, and I'll have a couple others I'll put in there too for like nutrition recommendations. I'm just speaking off the top of my head of what I know right off the bat. That will definitely help. Vitamin D supplementation is going to be phenomenal. You want to take that. These are my basics I recommend. So vitamin D, fish oils, and probiotics. But the vitamin D is crucial. You want to take it with K2, and you also want to take it with magnesium. When you do these all three at the same time, it maximizes absorbency in the body. So I usually do a liquid. It's most cost effective, good quality, does the job. You can also do a good soil-based organism-based probiotic that will really help with the gut. And the reason why you want to take these things is because it's not only gonna, like, the gut plays a huge role on mood. It plays a huge role on the brain. Actually, the gut connects to every single aspect of the body. More and more research is supporting in that, to the disc, even to specific joints in the body. The gut plays a role in it. So you want to make sure that you're taking a good quality probiotic regardless. More importantly, though, if you're breastfeeding, it's going to give your baby better probiotics for themselves and develop their gut while you also are taking care of yours. And then there's prebiotics you can take and so forth on top of that to really help cultivate that. These are the things that I use, and I'm kind of throwing them all out there pretty quick. But these are things that I would recommend for moms, especially in the fourth trimester. So before the fourth trimester, to be honest, but even during that time, to really help give your body what it needs so it can start to get that healing going, getting chiropractic care, getting that self-regulating, self-healing mechanisms kicking up the full gear, really keeping your nervous system in a really good optimal state as best as possible. And so it allows you to thrive during the experience of being possibly a new mom, new parents, or having your second or your third or so forth. And so it comes up to that point of where these are some things that I would recommend in that fourth trimester. And then, walking outside, getting fresh air, grounding, these are things that are going to help just reset that nervous system. If you notice, everything I'm trying to recommend here is, besides the supplements, is to really just reset the body. Okay. But those are the things that I would highly recommend to help in the process. And then also, there's other things that you can take besides the bone broth that again, like I said, highly recommend having that. And I said proteins, I specifically was talking about meat and fish. If you're vegan or vegetarian, there are other options you can do. I'm more on the meat side, is usually what I like to recommend, but there are some other, I would never recommend any fake meats. And there's just too many chemicals and seed oils and so forth. But you can do things like beans and, certain, if you're okay with dairy, cottage cheese is great. 24 grams of protein per serving. I wish I liked it because then I would eat it, a ton of it. I just don't. But there's various things that you can take and do to help get that protein up there. But beans is a great one. Black beans, lentils are really high in protein. All I'd recommend is just soak them for 2 to 3 days. You put them in a bowl of water. and then you'll do a little touch of apple cider vinegar. And then every day you go in and just stir it up, and just to make sure those bubbles aren't getting stuck on the bottom. After the second to third day, so 48 to 72 hours, you'll strain them, rinse them really nice, and then you'll cook them. You'll notice they have a different color. The water gets real dirty. You're breaking things down to allow for the absorption rates. And most people, when they have beans without soaking them, they notice they get gassy. You don't get gassy, or it's extremely minimized when you soak them. Now, if you throw them in an Instapot, then it's even better. So there's a whole podcast episode on that alone. But these are just some of the things to do in the process. And it's really just to take time to slow down and just reset, let your body reset, but more importantly, just slow down. I was reading something about how motherhood is a time just to slow down. And I really believe it. It's a time for you just to reconnect with oneself and with baby, and really in that process to embrace this new journey and to really support yourself for all that you possibly can. As things get better, breath work is another thing you can add into the mix to help keep that nervous system regulated, to help just keep yourself calm, to help keep yourself in a certain position. Because when you first have a baby, there's going to be good days and bad days. I've worked with a lot of moms, and I hear the stories. I have a handful right now. I've been talking to newborns, and it's interesting the ups and downs that they go through. I'm like, how was your week? Oh, some good days and bad days. That's going to be parenting, right? We're going to have good days and we're going to have bad days. But the key is to find the good in it all, right? To find the silver lining, even in the bad days. Because even sometimes where I was talking with my wife, and my daughter's she's showing already she's 3 without even being 3 in some ways, and all great. But it was one of those things. Well, I'm like, wait, she's changing already? I was like, man, I was just getting used to, I had a pulse on her now. I kind of understood where she is. Like, we have a understanding with each other, and now I'm losing that already. She already shifted and changed, right? So now I have to adapt to the new way. And it's perfectly normal. And I've done this, I don't know how many times already. And I know I'm going to continue doing that for the rest of the time being. And my other kids adding into the mix will do the same thing. So it's that process of just understanding that it's always going to change. But it's cool because keeping my nervous system is regulated, and sharing the things that I'm telling you with, or recommend, and all the other stuff I do, it allows me to navigate those waters so much better, so that I can handle it and show up as the best person I possibly can. So these are just a few. I know there's so much more out there. I just wanted to share some that are off the top of my head that I can help. But I wanted to emphasize the chiropractic. It is the biggest thing that you can do to regulate everything, cleanse the body out, and get it back to a more normal, balanced state. It's the one thing that I recommend out of it all. And then you add in, the supplements, you add in the diet and the food, and then you start to add in exercise and breath work and mindfulness practices, and then just taking care of you, right? This is the one thing that we don't leave until the day we leave this planet. All right. And so this is body, I call it a meat suit. It's with you always. So take care of it. Take time to recenter, take time to just support what you need. Because when you do that right, 6 months, a year down the road, you are going to be in a way better state than where you were prior to even pregnancy, possibly. I've seen moms do way better afterwards when they take care of themselves. Because what you're also gonna, and I was just talking this to a mom today. She was like, I don't have time for me. I can't take care of myself. I know I have things I need to do. I need to go see a chiropractor. I need to see the chiropractor too. And I just can't right now. And I said, that's fine. I was like, but just, this does not mean to show any guilt. Moms already do enough of that, of guilt shaming and all those other things. I was just like, I want you to just take a step back and see what you're talking about, what you're doing, your actions, and how does your daughter see that, right? What are the things that you're telling her as a priority? Because our actions are going to determine that, and that's what children look for. I mean, I'm a real big. I said, if you're showing her that taking care of yourself is not as important, that other things are, and she just goes, "Oof, you're laying this on day one." I was like, "I'm just being honest." Like, and she's like, "You know what? You're so right. Thank you for that." And I was like, "Listen, I'm only sharing. I only share stuff of what I do. Like, I would never share something that I don't do." When my daughter was born, I looked at my wife and I said, "I have to 10x my health, at least." She's like, "I don't know where you're going to improve at. You do so many things." I was like, "I don't know, but I'm going to have to take it to another level." And I'll just visualize it, and it's just going to happen. The things, the ideas, everything will just show up. I said, but I have to show her. So every time I'm working out, I have her come with me. At least in the beginning, she's watching me. I have her come in my sauna to meditate with me. She watches me do breath work. It's funny because sometimes she'll go poop, and it may be painful, and she'll just go. I could see her because I've been telling her this over time. She'll sit there and she'll breathe, and she'll just breathe through it. Sometimes she gets frustrated. I say, "Are you feeling frustrated?" She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "What can we do when we feel frustrated?" Sometimes she may say this, and she'll go, breathe. I said, do you want to do some breathing with daddy? She goes, yeah, let's breathe. I said, okay. And we do some breathing. After about, I may get 30 seconds if I'm lucky, but then I'll go, how do you feel after? She goes, better. I said, good. Honey, you can always breathe anytime you want. It's always there for you. And so I'm showing her based on actions of what I do. And I try to, even in the heat of things, um, if my wife and I are having a conversation or whatever it may be, I always try to, as much as I be mindful of this, I'm human, I mess up too, where I'll try to use my breath in the moment to have her see how I use it. So I'm always trying to remind myself, I'm not going to be perfect with this. I don't nail this 100% by any means, but it's one of those things where I'm trying to show that. So your actions will always have your kids of what they're going to follow. So take care of you, take care of this body. You take care of the body, it'll take care of you. The more you give and take care of the body to the fullest, it will have you have a very nice, smooth life. Yeah, there's going to be bumps along the road, but you'll be able to navigate those a lot easier. And that's my message for you today. So any questions you may have, you got my email in the show notes. Check out our free guide. You got that there. Check out the book, First 40 Days, if you are pregnant, and really try to apply it. I'm telling you, it is a game changer. I've had in just the last year, being back in chiropractic, I have recommended it probably a handful of times, and the moms who did it, it was about half of them. They were very impressed with it, and they're very happy with it. And I was just talking to two pregnant moms this week. I had one new patient of it, and she was talking about the 40-day thing. And I'm like, yes, this is what I was going to recommend for you. So any questions you have, let me know. Appreciate you. Please share with someone who you know may benefit. And as always, I thank you for taking the time to listen in. And until next time, keep rocking and rolling.